As part of a YouTube collaboration with Monika and Mel, both of their YouTube channels will be linked in the description box below. We will be coming in throughout December using the gorgeous Advent Calendar by Papercraft Society. Please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell not to miss out on any videos. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Katarina and I am super excited to be opening up the first envelope box from the Papercraft Society Advent Calendar. So the contents of this first one were designed by Louis Collins from Textures, and it is this gorgeous stamp set. Is it a stag, a reindeer? I'm not too sure, with 3 different sentiments. I fell in love with the moment I've seen this one. I just see so much shine and sparkle, and that's exactly what I did with my cards. I'm saying cards because I've already created this card that I'm going to be making now in a different color combination, which I will share with you at the end of this video, so please be sure to stay tuned for that one as well. The white card base I'm using measures 11 by 6 inches, and I'm going to score at 1 inch, at 2 inches, a 5.5, 9 and 10 inches. And another piece of white cardstock measures 12 by 5, and on the 12-inch side I'm going to score at 1/2 inch, at 6 inches and at 11.5 inches. To fold and burnish these score lines on the 11 by 6 inch piece, I'm going to fold first of all down in the middle at the 5.5 inch mark, which we scored. Make sure you burnish it very well. And then on the second score line, fold it up, and on the first one, fold it back down. Just make sure you burnish all the score lines, because this will create the base, the stand for your card. So this is the shape we are going for, and we are going to create exactly the same on the other side. So again, on the 2-inch mark up, on the 1-inch mark down, and this is what it should look like. For the base of the card, it stands up very nice if it's fully nicely burnished. So for the other piece of the cardstock that we have that measured 12 by 5 inches, we are going to fold it in half at the 6-inch mark. Make sure you burnish it very, very well. And just make sure that it's all nicely lined up, so it's nice and square, so to speak. And then the 1/2-inch tabs, we're just going to fold back on either side, just like that. And again, I'm using my bone folder just to give it a very, very good burnishing. Eventually, this piece will sit on top of the other one, but first we have to create our mats and layers. So for my mats, I'm using silver holographic cardstock, and I will need a piece of 4 3/4 by 5.25 inch of that holographic cardstock. I need one that measures 3 1/4 by 5 3/4, and 2 pieces that will measure 3/4 inch by 5 3/4. This piece of white cardstock will measure 4.5 by 5 inches, and I'm going to be ink blending on top of that. So these are all the, and these 2 little pieces will measure 1/2 inch by 5.5. And will also be ink blended. So for this card, the 2 colors that I'm using are shaded lilac and broken china. So I'm just doing some very basic ink blending. I'm coming in with the shaded lilac for top of my card, and on the bottom that I'm going to come in with the broken china, and I'm just going to make sure that I ink blend them nicely so there's like a smooth transition between the 2 colors. To achieve that, I'm just going back and forth between the 2 colors until it looks real nice and real smooth. I think these 2 colors work so very well together, but for a different color combination or inspiration even, stay tuned to the end of this video. And to one of the 1/2-inch strips pieces of cardstock, I added shaded lilac, and to the other one I went in with the broken china. And I'm making sure that these pieces are dry, very well dry, especially the largest piece, so I used my heat tool to give them a good blast. Now I'm using double-sided sticky sheet in here just to apply on the whole area of that largest piece of ink blended cardstock. This is why I needed to make sure that it's fully dry so it will stick to it properly. If you've seen any of my videos before, tutorials, you know what's coming. This is me. This is how I craft. I just love glitter. I can't help it. So this is what I'm going to apply to this. Once I remove the backing, it is time to dip this into a whole big pot of crystalline. So crystalline glitter is from Chloe's Creative Cards. This is like a translucent glitter with such lovely sparkle, but it will still let you see the colors underneath. So any translucent glitter that you have at home will work for this technique. It kind of mutes down those colors of the ink blended background in there. It still looks absolutely beautiful. On a piece of heat-resistant acetate, I'm going to stamp this stag or reindeer using Versamark ink. First, however, I have to prep my acetate using anti-static powder. And the embossing powder I'm going to be using for this one is the polished silver embossing powder by Wow. And this one is super fun. I'm also taking one of the sentiments that says winter wishes to you and your family, and I'm going to stamp it on a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to heat emboss it with exactly the same embossing powder, the polished silver by Wow. I have to admit, when I first started using the polished silver embossing powder, I didn't think there would be any difference between the regular silver and the polished silver, but there really is. There's just so much more shine to this one. It's just gorgeous. I'm cutting my sentiment down to size, just really leaving a little tiny border on all four sides of this one. Then I'm going to ink up a piece of scrap cardstock using the same broken china ink pad that I used before on the card. And this is where I'm going to layer up my sentiment on top of in a little while. Before that, however, I want to polish up, just tidy up my acetate piece a bit, the one that I stamped my stag or a reindeer on. There's a lot of fingerprint marks and powder residue from the anti-static powder, and I am going to cut it down 4.5 by 5 inches, and this is exactly the same size as the ink blended piece of cardstock, which will be sitting below this one. So I have some brads in here. These are light blue ones, and these are just very tiny ones. And I'm going to punch a hole in all four corners using my crocodile. And I'm using the smallest hole punch on this, which I believe is about 1/8 of an inch in around that. So I'm just adding it on all four corners, and this is how I am attaching the acetate piece to that ink blended glittered up cardstock in there. I think the brads add lovely decoration. It's a nice way of attaching the acetate without having to add any glue. And now I'm going to take some foam tape and I'm going to apply it on the whole back of this piece of cardstock. Using my liquid glue, I just layer up the sentiment on that piece of cardstock that I just ink blended, and I'm going to use double-sided tape on the back of these ink blended strips to attach them to the holographic cardstock we've cut to size previously. Now all I have to do is cut my sentiment to size, and I will apply foam tape at the back of this one as well, just to raise it up from the background a little bit. To assemble the card, I'm going to take the piece of holographic cardstock that measures 3.25 by 5.75, and I'm going to glue it onto the front of that card base that we made out of the 11 by 6 inches of cardstock. And now I'm taking the other piece and fold the little 1/2 inch of strips back on like upwards. I'm applying glue just to that 1/2 inch of a section, just like in here, and I'm pressing it inside that little valley what we previously created on the card base. Now I'm adding the piece of holographic cardstock to the front. This one was the one that measured 4.75 by 5.25. And removing the double-sided tape, I decided to set it aside for a bit because I think it was just easier for me to glue that little strip at the back while there's no bulk in there. I had room to play with it a bit, to press it down real hard. Now it is time to apply my front, and this is the card coming together very nicely. I've added my sentiment just on the top left corner in there. There's lots of room at the back to write your message. And all that's left to do to add some snowflakes. And I'm using the Snowflake Flurry Glitter Pot from Chloe's Creative Cards. I transferred them onto dark background. It's just easier to pick out the snowflakes in there. And I'm just using glossy accents to add them here and there all over my card. And this is the card ready, and I told you I'll show you a different color variation. In this one I used festive berries, pine needles distress oxide inks, and the polished gold heat embossing powder. If you like these 4-stepper cards I created today, and if you would like to see some more inspiration using the Advent calendar throughout December, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime I upload new videos. Bye!